What up, everybody? It's Nomad TV, and I'm your guy, the No Face Podcaster. You can call me Nomad. So, Cassie finally made a statement, finally spoke out about the domestic violence she endured at the hands of P. Diddy. And I got to say, I was proud of her for a few reasons. The video that everybody's reacting to, everybody's seen. We did it on our first ever show, Nomad TV, and I kind of regret showing it because it, it it was just bad and it was triggering, and I might have to take that video down just for personal reasons. It was very triggering for me, which is the reason why I'm doing this broadcast in the first place. And I got Cassie's statement, but on the other side of it, once I show you and read that statement to you, I'm going to speak to you all personally about why I'm so triggered about the whole thing and my experiences in the situation, not me personally, but a family member. And I can remember as early as 14 and 15, intervening in the middle of two adults. But it's a whole story I will get to on the other side of this. But first, let's read Cassie's statement. First, let me share my screen. Hang on with me just a second. This won't be a long video, too, by the way. It's just I didn't have any space and I couldn't record a pre-recorded video, so I had to go live. So apologize to you guys for that. So let me share my screen. Sorry about that, people. Now here's Cassie's statement. I'm gonna read it to everybody. Thank you for all the love and support from my family and friends, strangers, and those I have yet to meet. The outpouring of love created a place for my younger self to settle and feel safe now. But it's only the beginning. Domestic violence is the issue. It broke me down to someone I never thought I would become. With a lot of hard work, I am better today, but I will always be recovering from my past. Thank you to everyone that's taken the time to take this matter seriously. My only ask is that everyone open your heart to believing victims of first time. It takes a lot of heart to tell the truth out of a situation that you were powerless in. I offer my hand to those that are still living in fear. Reach out to people. Don't cut them off. No one should carry this weight alone. This healing journey is never ending, but this support means everything to me. Thank you. Love always, Cassie. Take that off the screen right quick. Stop the screen. Okay. So I thought it was again, I'm extremely proud of Cassie. Hey, what's going on, Armando? Sorry I didn't give anybody any notifications, but this is I couldn't pre-record it, so I had to go live. But thank you for coming and jumping in with me right quick, Armando. Um, I'm very proud of her, man, because there's women somewhere right now that's dealing with the situation. I've seen it so many times in my life. Um, it's um, it's it's extremely powerful because she's a high profile individual now, just by just by the reference to P Diddy makes her high profile in the story and every all the video that's coming out, which is I think is going to be a lot more. I think it's the very sharp tip of the iceberg. When I say the sharp tip, I mean that very tippy top. And for it to be as bad as it is now, to imagine what might be coming down the road is going to be eye raising. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So I'm extremely proud of her. She's got young children, I think girls that she has looking up to her, and they'll know this story for the rest of their lives. They'll have to deal with that in some kind of way for the rest of their lives. Not just cats, it will be her children, and that story is going to shape them. And so my story about this is, I'll tell you real quick. And so I had an aunt that's very close to me, almost like a mother. And while I was growing up, she was married to a guy, and he was extremely abusive to her. And I never understood as a child why she would end up back with him at that time. And it really frustrated me. It pissed me off, to be quite frank with you. And I couldn't figure out what the situation was, because I'm just like, hey man, I would want to tell her like why you still with him, but I was too young to really understand the full dynamic of what was going on. But as I got older, got a little bigger, situations began to happen. I saw it happen in front of me. One time I was 14 or 15. This is a grown adult man. He's a big dude too. And something went down and I fought him. I fought him and she was screaming and yelling because she thought he was going to hurt me. But, I was a pretty feisty kid. And, it was, wow, Sean Kingston. Wait a minute. I'll get to that in just a second before I get out of here. And I fought him. It didn't last very long because she got in the middle of it. A couple of my uncles came out and they got into it with him. And it was a whole thing. But it didn't stop there. As I became an adult, I had a situation. I was just so happened to be coming by my mother's home. My aunt was there staying with her for a time, and I pulled up, and here those two were, my aunt and her husband, kind of fighting in the street, arguing, but they wasn't physically putting hands on each other. But you could tell it was getting there. And so I jump out the car and he immediately comes running up to me to kind of like, hey man, I didn't do nothing to your aunt, but you better get her. And he said so many words. He said it in a way, he called her a B word. He said, you better get that B. And as soon as he said that, now I'm an adult now. I'm a very young adult, but I'm an adult. I got a full adult body. Dealing it's a man situation now. It's not no kid. It's not no kid to man situation. It's a full on adult situation now. And I cracked it right soon as I heard the B word come out of his mouth. I cracked it, and we rumbled right then and there. And we got into it, and my mother came out, my aunts and people from the neighbors from across the way came out, splitting us up. And long story short, I don't believe after that day that the situation got physical between them again. Not so long as I was in the area. I'm not saying that I'm Tony Tough Guy or anything like that, but he knew from that situation, if I caught wind of him putting his hands on my aunt, I'm gonna respond. And so that situation led into the rest of my life and to where I'm at now. I think there are, I think it's a basically a spectrum of kinds of men in this world, right? And you got those P Diddy types at the very low end of the spectrum, the abusive, take advantage of someone type guy, to the very far end of the spectrum where you have very protective men out here, and I'm one of them. I'm definitely on the far end of that spectrum. I'm very protective of women, and probably because the type of women I've grown up with in my life, man, they've been powerful people in my life, shaped me, and I never forget that. And I'll always be thankful for how they poured into me. And that just carries on to my adult life now. And me being a mentor and a counselor, I've counseled young women. I told you guys that before, I think. And it's just natural for me to be reactive in this situation and want to express myself and let people know that, hey man, you especially guys, man. Like if you live that lifestyle and you think that's the cool and okay way about going about a relationship, man, you can't, for one, you can't be around me. I've got friends that I've disowned, family members I've disowned. I'm just not gonna have it. You definitely ain't gonna do it around me. You definitely ain't gonna do it around me. That's dead. And so, I'm just proud of this lady, man. I really am. I think a lot of people are hearing her. A lot of people are seeing her. A lot of women that's in this stuff right now, currently as we speak, have a certain. It's a sensitive subject, man, because there are people who don't survive these situations, man. There are people with dirt sitting on top of them right now, looking up, looking up. They're under the earth from situations like this, and they've got to feel encouraged. We've got to help people with platforms, just people in your regular life. You don't have to have a platform. Just in your regular life, just make sure people know you're there for them. If they need you, you start seeing signs and people going through stuff like this girl had to go through. You got to say something, man. It's incumbent upon you to speak. React. Don't sit there and let like I can't even imagine somebody doing that while I'm anywhere out in society, going to the store, doing whatever I'm doing. I can't imagine not responding and seeing some lady getting taken advantage of in that way and me not doing anything about it. A lot of people would say, hey, that ain't none of my business. And I get people like that, fat friends like that, that endured that with their watching their mothers grow up. And I used to get mad at them for it. But later on, I found out that the personality types, I'm a different personality type. I'm the type that, I'm not afraid of conflict. And, some people are, some friends of mine, they just aren't built that way. And they are who they are. And I forgive them for the type of person they are. But, long story short, man, I'm so happy to see this young lady uh, really, really express herself. I know you could tell by the statement that there's a arrangement or some kind of agreement that they can't really speak each other's names. So that was obvious in P Diddy's fake ass apology, and it was obvious in her statement to the world. They agreed not to speak about each other, or at least use each other's names. And so, yeah, that's the thing for me. I'm just happy to see her, and I hope this situation brings some kind of enlightenment and some kind of encouragement to everybody out there that might be dealing with this kind of stuff. It's just absolutely horrific. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the information coming out on this cat. And I'm not gonna sit here and just make P Diddy videos around the clock. This ain't even about him, as a matter of fact. It is, but it's not. It's about Cassie standing up for women and making herself available for women that are going through similar stuff. So I'm extremely proud of her. And I thank you guys for jumping in the chat with me. This wasn't meant to be a live video, but it had to be because my StreamYard space is pretty much over. I have to get rid of some of that stuff on StreamYard and put it on a hard drive. And I gotta do all that. But let me respond to you guys in the chat real quick. Thank you for coming, Armando Jr. Thank you guys for supporting me on this new endeavor I'm doing. I'm just now getting it started. I'm going to build it until it gets to where it needs to be. And I'm glad you guys are rolling with me to help me make this stuff happen. So thank you, Armando Jr. Let me think. Let me see this. Jarrell Moore says that singer Sean Kingston's house has been raided by the feds. I just briefly saw that when I went to page 6 to share my screen with you guys. I got to go see what that's all about. Hey, Queen Patty, what's going on? Hey, happy afternoon to you. Love you guys for being here. AC Adams showed up for me. What's going on? Oliver Chapman. What's up, Oliver, man? Hell no, I ain't never put my hands on a woman. It's only in love, man. I'm a big old teddy bear when it comes to a woman, man. It's just, I'm a fighting dude when it comes to other men, but ain't no chance in hell I put my hands on a woman in any way other than love, man. If it got to that point where I was even tempted, we got to part ways. It's just that simple. My guy, the Scrolls, man, he said, I don't know, no, man. I think he said love situations turn situations quick, but always claim to be stuck in bad situations, especially when money's involved. You know what, man? That's real. That's real. I think money tends to definitely put women in situations where they feel like, you know, I'm obligated because this guy's taking care of me. Those are the scariest ones to deal with, and the hardest ones to kind of split up and separate, because it's always some dollar amount attached to if somebody's taking care of a woman. It's hard to get that split up, but there's a way to do it. You know what I mean? You just got to be determined. A woman's got to be determined that this ain't gonna be the end for me if I don't have him there, providing for me. It ain't gonna be the end. You might have to start all over and start from scratch. You might even have to go to a shelter or be homeless, for that matter. In those extreme cases, you just got to be willing to get out of that for the sake of your own well-being and your life, potentially. So yeah, you're right about that though, bro. Um, let me see, what is he saying here? The Scrolls are saying, why not press charges at the time to prevent other women from being victims? Why wait 10 years for the payout? I'll answer this question. I got to get out of here. I think it's very, very simple, Scrolls. I think that guy is so powerful. He was, at least. He still got a lot of money. He doesn't have any more pull and power no more. You got to imagine, Scrolls, what did this chick actually witness? I'm sure she saw a lot, and what that cat's capable of doing. Anybody that's got that kind of money and that kind of power and influence, she's probably seen this dude probably have some people bumped off. I know for a fact that it's out there that she witnessed. She was messing around with Kid Cudi, and he found out about it and told her flat out that he was going to blow up his car, and that played out. And so you got to imagine being somebody. She met him at 19 and was totally influenced by the guy. Watch how he moved. Watch what kind of power and sway he had. I think, to be quite frank with you, if there was any situation, a woman that was the extreme difficulty case of getting out of this relationship or getting out of this situation, it's probably hers, just because of who he is. You know, she's just a woman. She can't overpower this guy and keep. I mean, there is every bit of credence scrolls to. Yeah, she should have did something and pressed charges a long time ago. But you gotta imagine, man, that dude was extremely powerful. Grown men wouldn't even, you know, sneeze his direction, not because they're probably physically afraid of him, but what he can go pay somebody to have done to them. So there's all kinds of reasons to me why she stayed in that thing as long as she had. I'm pretty sure she's got some regrets about how she probably had some opportunities, but she was a young girl, and at the time I forgive her for that, man. But that fool, never. So I can understand why she didn't do a lot of the stuff that she's doing now a long time ago. It probably took her um, you know, it probably took some doing in her mind mentally to get to that point to say that, you know what, regardless of what happens to me, the very worst of scenarios could happen to me, but I'm gonna do this shit for my kids. I'm gonna do this shit for my daughters. That's what I'm gonna do. And so maybe it just came to that. And if that's the case, and God bless her, you know what I mean? I thank her for doing it, but I'm glad, you know, it's just a it's just an illuminating thing for people, especially women. And I'm glad that Cassie got to get to the point where she was strong enough to feel like she could endure whatever might happen on the other side of me speaking my mind and letting it be known what was done to me. And so for that, I thank her. I'm gonna be looking forward to covering the story as we move forward. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a lot more stuff going on, a lot more information coming out, videos and all kinds of stuff, and I'll be here for it, and a whole lot of other breaking news. I'm going to go live later on today, man. It's a Martin Lawrence story that I want to touch base with, man. He doesn't look good. He was doing promos for him and Will Smith's movie Bad Boys, and I think it's kind of alarming. But we may get into that show tonight. But you never know what might happen between me now and dinner or something like that. Any kind of story can come out. But that's the plan, to talk about that story moving forward. But I thank you guys for joining with me today. We're gonna do a whole lot more breaking news and do more stories moving forward. But for now, I got to get ready to get out of here. But before I leave, I got to leave you with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.